Warning. The following show is likely to switch topics faster than a Kardashian switches NBA players in bed. Caution is advised. We surveyed 100 people. Actually, no, just some dudes off the street about JB. And here are the top answers. Number 1, JB. I love JB. Did I say that right? Do I still get my Chick-fil-A gift card? Number 2, who? Number 3, I know JB. He don't know shit. And now he's got a podcast? This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB, your friendly late-stage midlife husband, dad, and self-diagnosed ADHD connoisseur. This is all about candid conversation with friends, colleagues, and professionals, unpacking life's lessons and having a damn fun time doing it. And hey, sometimes we're going to veer off topic. But isn't that what makes life interesting? Let's talk about taking the good parts and leaving the bad. Because life's too short for unnecessary baggage. This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. And now your host, Jason Becker.
All right. Every time I hear it, we've got a short version of that I think I want to do, like where I can split that intro up. But
I kind of like it.
And I like it. Just
it kind of tells your whole
ready.
Story.
I know I was a little tired this morning, and it's kind of like, hey, there you go. What the hell do I know? Welcome back to our latest episode here. I'm so excited for my guest here. I've got my good friend, my hairstylist, Allen Padgett here. I'm so excited Allen's with us. The thing I love is, and by the way, I thank you everyone that's listening and subscribing and sharing. And, I continue to be amazed every time I release an episode. I think nobody's going to watch or listen, and then somebody does, and I get something different that comes. I'll see somebody out and they're like, hey, I was talking to so-and-so and they were telling me about your podcast. So it's kind of interesting how that goes. So by the way, if you see me out and around and you want to tell me something great that you heard on the podcast, I'd love to hear about it. So I really do. In fact, Allen, you do that to me. When I come in on my haircut, we all of a sudden will go over.
I've been part of this journey from, I remember you talking about, I want to do this. I think I'm going to do this. And I'm like, all right. And the hype was coming, which I love the intro, by the way, because the self-deprecating hype, it's true to life. That's art imitating life right there. But so when you finally did drop the first one and we listened to it, I've told you, each little episode is so independent, but yet there's a cohesive theme, and I really enjoy what you take away from each one. So we talked about
Thank you so much.
You're either coming into something, going through something, or coming out.
Right.
And I mean,
that's 3 stages of life, right?
I'm like,
you're like, I thought there was a calm spot.
Right. I need that, but that was mind blowing when you said that. So I'm like, write that down.
That's great. Well, again, I really appreciate that. I think that you gave me a high praise one time in saying that you felt like it was your morning drive show.
Yeah.
Which I love it. So if you're listening out there, this is a great time where you use it when you're heading to work, or maybe if you're a young student, you're driving to or from classes, it's a great time to throw it on, and we're on everywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're there. So
totally worth it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But again, thank you so much for coming along. By the way, we have our drink of the moment, which I like to say, we're going to, maybe we'll name it Allen's Cooler or something like that.
I'm down.
You did, this is a drink that you've created. It's probably somewhere.
I probably stole it from somebody else,
right.
But
tell us what's in this, because this is the drink you were like, hey, I want to do a gin drink.
So we have 2 ounces of gin, a half ounce of Saint Germain, and then as much cucumber and lemon as you want, and then top it with club soda. So it's really fresh for the spring. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cheers everybody.
Cheers,
absolutely.
Cheers.
Oh my goodness. That is excellent. Listen, if you want to enjoy Allen's Cooler, you can probably find that at any of your local grocery stores or liquor stores. But as always, drink only if you're over 21 and drink responsibly.
And you can make this alcohol free.
Right, you just take out the alcohol parts. Club soda and fruit. Quite frankly, that can be a nice, refreshing drink. It's totally true. Yeah. You can make it non-alcoholic. Well, listen, but the other thing is you are today's sponsor. You are the owner and operator of Salon Trinity. So big shout out to Salon Trinity here. The Salon Trinity is more than just a salon. It's a sanctuary where beauty meets compassion, and expertise blends with authenticity. As a platinum Paul Mitchell-focused salon, we pride ourselves on delivering exceptional health care, experiences that go beyond expectations. Our team of skilled stylists is dedicated to celebrating you individually, providing personalized service, and ensuring you leave feeling confident and beautiful. With a commitment to continuous education, community involvement, and a warm, inviting atmosphere, the Salon Trinity sets a new standard for excellence in the salon industry. Experience the difference at the Salon Trinity and discover your beauty within.
Yep.
Super excited about that. That's great. Did you write that yourself?
Actually, no. I worked with my PR guy, and he refined what I had to say.
Well,
so.
you needed a podcast host that can speak English correctly
and
to read that and beautifully. I stumbled over authenticity, I believe, and didn't even say host right just a second ago. So how about that? I mean, it's kind of terrible for me. In fact, we're going to give myself the first sad trombone of the day.
I don't know if it's terrible.
That was terrible.
Like your level.
By the way, Money is back. I'm so glad to
How
have
you
you
doing,
back
bro?
in the studio with us.
I love to be here.
And those of you that listen along, you know this is one of my great friends, Brandon, B. Randon,
Randon.
B. Money.
B Money.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
prefer the B-Money?
So
I don't.
It feels right.
From high school, I don't know where
stayed
it
around.
It was.
Were you draining threes?
No,
Like money.
Zero athletic ability.
Oh, come on, Brandon.
Almost negative.
That's true. I
I can
have
play golf,
seen
though.
you on a zip line.
I was perfect form though. You don't want to go down that tangent.
We went on a zip line.
Yeah,
and
he
they
put me
told us-
5,000 feet above the ground. So
They told us
they didn't
all
say
to
that.
hang upside down. You do this beautiful hang, and you kind of put your feet in this triangle mode, and you just lay back upside down and throw your hands. Yeah, if I find this video, because I know I have it, I've got to slice it into this episode.
If you do,
Are y'all
it's a
spinning?
royalty.
It's a
Something,
royalty fee or something.
because it's perfect form. It's perfect.
He is holding on like a koala bear
Perfectly.
as he goes across the canyon.
Perfectly. And I
It
came
was
in
the
hot.
Yes.
That poor lady's face, about 100 yards away, I could see
He
the
almost-
fear in
this
her
girl
eyes.
catching him.
And I'm
is
like, I'm coming in
100
hot. You didn't show me the
120
brakes.
pounds wet, and
Oh,
she's catching
hot.
Brand.
Hot.
You were making sure you were staying aerodynamic.
Man, I was twirling around. I didn't know where I was going. I
was
knew
the
I was going to
best.
hit something.
Yeah.
And I knew it was her.
Hey, he's still. he flew.
Oh, man, it was bad. Yeah.
I have this video. It's so good. Oh
I feel
my
like
gosh,
the first
it's so
time
good.
anybody zip lines, though, they have no idea what they're doing.
It
You think
wasn't
you're
my
gonna have
first
this
time, but
picturesque
it's all right.
moment of like taking and everything, and they're like, lean back, look at the sky, and let's go. And you're either doing this or you're coming like a rocket.
I was doing both that like a rocket.
It was everything, but when he
like
hit,
a tornado
build.
flying
when
at
he
you.
hit the end, he went like 3 seconds.
Please find this video.
I've got it.
He's
so bad.
kind of over-exaggerated. I don't know if I did 360. Maybe like
If the whole video doesn't fit into the clip, post a link.
It's so good. So, but yeah, B Money, baby.
Hey,
B
I'm back.
Money's here.
Hey,
He's
I'm
back.
here.
Back to the show. So we've got. I do want to, because I saw this. You sent this to me, and I wanted to play this for our viewers, because this is really a great promotion here. I'm going to put it up there.
Part of our job is taking
yeah.
care of our guests.
There you are.
Whether it's in the salon or at home. And part of that not only is our consultation, but our knowledge. Every time you come in, we're teaching you how to style your hair, how to use the products that we're recommending, and why we're recommending them. It's not what you look like when you leave the salon, it's what you look like every day at home. So our job is to not only style you today, but help you to style yourself at home every day.
If I want it done curly, he does a really good job, and when he does it straight, it lasts. And that's something I'm looking for with the humidity and living in Florida.
You know, we have options for every guest, and that's really where we focus on our consultation.
Now, why
and what
didn't
makes
I
it
get an
custom.
invite to this,
Our color
uh,
selections, our
promo?
placement,
This was just
our
a random
cuts,
day in the salon.
All of that
Oh,
really
wow.
is, you know, designed for each guest that walks through the front door.
Hey, I'm Amanda, and I've been coming
here's
to
my
Allen for close to a
favorite
decade
server.
now. I wouldn't have it any other way. He's been taking care of me for that long. The process is always fun, and it's always
decade.
exciting to see the
I feel like
final
you've
product.
been cutting my hair about a decade, too.
Close to?
Close, too.
I have
We
been
judge it by
using
the
Paul Mitchell
kids.
for my entire career, and it's a brand that I really stand behind. It's owned by hairdressers, and what's behind the bottle is really the love that goes into every guest. My team goes to continuing education. We have in-house education that we receive. We have options for everybody, and that education supports us every day.
So it's just been a lot of fun working with Allen and seeing the different styles that I didn't even know
Bobby
existed for my
this
type
video.
of hair.
We really can customize that for you and teach you that vision right in front of the mirror, one-on-one. We have 3 style stations. Our stylists are really excited to really welcome you in as a guest of ours and show you what we have.
Oh, what a great, really a great job on that production, huh?
Shout out to Land, Air, and Sea Productions. That's my friend Bobby. He made that for me and made us look like stars. And then I turned the camera on him and like, it's your turn.
Great video, though. And that was Bobby
Wagner. With, Land, Air, and Sea.
But he's also the mayor.
He is the mayor of Destin.
Destin.
Great friend.
That's awesome.
He's a good guy. Really good guy.
That's really cool. I saw him the other day on a video that was, it was a lady that just went really nuts here in Highway 98 and driving a golf cart.
Yeah.
And she said, do you know Bobby Wagner? But, of course, they were in Walton County, which, if you know anything about this area, Walton County is the county next to Okaloosa, which is where Destin is. Right. So she wasn't actually in the city of Destin. She was in the county of Walton. And she said, do you know Bobby Wagner? And it was so great because he got tagged in this video like 1,000 times.
Oh, no.
Dude, he takes everything in stride. I got to give it to him.
His response was perfect. Yeah. I thought it was great. That was so good. But listen, a big shout out to you and what your program's doing. You've got some great products. We're going to dive into this. I really appreciate you being here. Again, Salon Trinity is a great salon to go to. If you live down here, you ought to book one of these hairstylists. I recommend any of them. I think all your stylists are great. I see Allen. My girls actually see McKenna.
Yep.
And so we love coming in and seeing you. My whole family's gotten their haircut from you for almost a decade. My son's now in Tampa, so I think he's had to reach outside the bounds, but he comes home sometimes. Yeah. Now, if you were on vacation down here and you ran into a hair emergency, can they give you a call? you're so booked. It would have to be
here.
Like if you're from Atlanta and you're on the beach.
Advertise that. So I've had the pleasure of taking care of your family for almost 10 years. The entire family. I've gotten to know your kids, man. I've gotten to watch them grow up. Thank you for sharing them with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when they come home, I'm like, all right, come on in.
Emergency
can make that. Only in an emergency. Yeah. And if you're...
Are there hair emergencies?
Oh, yeah.
What would be your biggest emergency you've ever had in a hair? Don't say the name.
I don't believe that there's hair emergencies, but the reality is what's real to you is real to me.
Right.
So there have been times when people call and they've had some maybe a lovely, beautiful cocktail at home and decided to get brave, and they're like,
just want to do that.
I wanted to do something.
Edges or something.
Which is part of the reason why I did online booking, www.thesalontrinity.com.
Yeah. We'll put it up there.
You got it.
We'll put it up there.
Was because I had so many things where I was having a glass of wine with my girlfriend and we decided to color my hair or cut back, all these things. And then they're like, I had a guest that had pink hair one time. Trying to be blonde, and so that was an emergency situation. I think she worked.
Probably had a meeting coming up and needed something done.
Professional job. It's not
Were you able to get her back blonde?
We did fix it, but I think a valuable lesson was learned there. So I always tell my guests, if you're having a hair emergency, we have 24-hour booking online. So don't follow that impulse. Book an appointment. We will help you.
That's really good. That is great. You should check out his website. Again, if you are looking for a hairstylist or you don't have a hairstylist, look up Salon Trinity. Everything's online.
Yeah.
And you guys send great notices out. I get a text and verify my appointment and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good. I've gotten better. There's been a few times where I missed my appointment. I got busy or something. However, I've gotten much, much better.
Absolutely.
Much, much better. So now to the new news. New news. Anybody got any new news they want to share? I got a new tattoo.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I did.
That
I got a new tattoo right here. It says "Hold Fast." Yeah, I got a new tattoo. I did it with my son. We did a tattoo together. People that know me know I deal and dabble with and have to get over anxiety and some of those things. Sure. Sometimes it's in business. Sometimes it's just in life. You get anxious, and this Hold Fast kind of came to about. It was kind of a friend of ours, and the family had posted something about Hold Fast. And it was about an old preacher that said something kind of in a sermon, essentially, just like a sailor. Sometimes you've done everything in life you can do. You've prayed, you've done everything. There's just nothing left to do, and you have to do like a sailor does and put your anchor in the water, head into the storm. You got to hold fast, and he says hold fast into your faith, hold fast into that. And so sometimes when you get anxious and things go on, you've done everything you can. You just have to stop and say, I need to just hold fast. So My son and I both got this tattoo together, so that was kind of cool.
cool.
Did it in Tampa when we were.
Oh, and then it's good, like reminder to him. He can see it on his arm, like when you're going through stuff. I mean, because that's the reality of it, right?
Sure.
We all fall into things.
Sure.
And sometimes it's a test of patience. The things are already happening. You've done the work.
Right.
You have to allow it to blossom and grow.
Right.
But holding fast, you know your vision. Stay focused on it because that's where.
That's right.
A lot of good ways to use it. So that word or saying "hold fast" is kind of held some true for us, and so we kind of do. You got anything new? I mean, you just got done doing some work over at the
Poured concrete
this morning. Nice. Did you float it? Did you do the bull
I
float?
did not do it. My
You
back
had
is
different
pretty
people
rough.
doing a bull float.
Yeah.
Do you know what a bull float is? It's a tool in
It
concrete.
uses a bull tool.
You just floated across, and that's what
It was level.
Yeah.
So it was
sure?
good. It looked level. I wasn't going to touch it.
Should have walked it. Did you put your handprint on it?
No, I didn't. I did not.
on,
No. It looks like
Did
just
you do like a
regular
heart,
concrete.
like B and C or something
Nothing.
like that?
Just concrete. He brushed it. It's just got the brush marks in it.
Nice.
Like that.
Oh yeah, he brushed it at the end. Oh well, then it was really curing by the time you left.
Oh yeah, I was setting up.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to leave it.
Yeah.
Now I'm setting up. But
No, that's great.
I'm here with you now.
You got
JB.
anything new?
Not too much. We went to the Westonwood Ranch Rodeo not too long
That's
ago.
right. It's rodeo. You guys sponsored this
We
rodeo.
did.
For
We
what
did.
was the cause?
For Westonwood Ranch. It is in Freeport, Florida, and it is a school for people with autism or developmental disabilities. Really beautiful program. If you're not aware, look into it. They're a charity that's close to my heart. Not for any particular reason besides that you go there and it's just such a beautiful vision of how to enable people to better fit into our world. Like, we don't have to change it. Find your niche and celebrate yourself. And they really do celebrate each person's individuality and find a way to help them achieve their best. So,
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
but it was my first rodeo.
Brilliant.
That's
Let's
great.
all write that down, shall we, class?
You get your first notes.
I was hoping I was going to get a note.
That was so good. That's so good, man. I love it. I love how much you give to charity. I think that's so great, and I love your salon. The thing that I love about your salon the most, I think, is that you care more about the person and how they feel, especially leaving your salon.
Yeah.
Versus, I mean, great time in the salon, wonderful time there, but you really actually care about the impact people have in their community.
Yeah.
And I love that. I really love that. I love that about you.
Thank you.
But now we're going to put you on the hot seat. So it is now time to play What the Hell Do I Know? So I'm going to give you a series of questions, rapid succession. And here we go. We'll put the clock on. And all right. Last concert you went to?
I went to Postmodern Jukebox on Thursday.
There you go. Favorite restaurant in ATL?
In Atlanta, the Varsity.
Nice. When you were in high school, what did you want to be?
I don't know. An artist? A physicist?
Okay. Favorite car you have ever owned?
I love my Tesla.
All right. Have you ever messed up a haircut?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%.
If you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Crawfish.
Nice answer.
I didn't know that about you.
Oh, I love crawfish.
Do you cut your husband's hair?
Absolutely. Unfortunately. No, I'm just kidding. Totally love it.
That's great. Got laughter and applause on that one.
It's the story of my life.
Double whammy.
A double whammy. That was so good, man. That's great.
Great question.
You know, your wife, does she still cut your hair?
Yes.
Sometimes,
And she's
yeah.
awesome.
She's trained in
She is.
cutting hair.
Hey, we're hiring.
She
So,
is. She is. And she's so patient with me because I'm not patient. I want it done in 30 seconds.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wild.
So, I don't know. She's great.
That's
She's
great.
phenomenal.
Now, does he come in or you just do it right there at the house?
oh, no. I don't do hair at home. That's like.
So he does have to come in.
Okay, feel bad for Lee. This is the one moment I'm going to say it. He actually goes online and books an appointment like everybody else.
Yes.
He's following the rules.
yeah.
Now
I
I
like
feel
it.
special. Now
Yeah.
and honestly, as a customer of Allen's, you should feel special now. There is
Wow.
no nepotism.
No, this is like follow the rules. This is how you get in.
It's like the cobbler's kid, I mean, doesn't
Right.
have any shoes. I mean, Lee books his appointment online, and it's probably the fastest haircut I do.
Known to man. You do it with
turn the chair.
Do you do it with a Flowbee?
I do not use a Flowbee. We don't have any Flobies in shop.
Man,
So-
underrated though. Those are
Sorry,
so
Lee.
cool.
Oh, well, listen, man. What else so tell me about Salon Trinity. I know we've had some. I've been and what you're doing and how you got into it, and give me kind of maybe a 2-minute synopsis or something of a little bit of you.
Yeah, so I always wanted to be a hairdresser. That's what I wanted to be when I grew up. Like, I thought about it, but not to get too deep, but I didn't want to fall into the stereotypical gay hairdresser, right? Like, trying not to be.
Right.
And then you reach a point in your life and you're like, I am on my own journey. So I took during the recession, I got laid off, and it gave me, one of the silver linings of that was gave me the opportunity to go to hair school, and went to Palm Mitchell School, Atlanta. And it was an absolutely life-changing experience for me. I mean, I had so many wonderful mentors and just connecting with people.
What year was that, do you think?
2009.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So I started in 2009, and I mean, it was an incredible journey for me and just opened my eyes to the whole world. That's how I fell in love with Paul Mitchell. And just really what spoke to me with them is that they celebrate individuality and artistry, but like, be the best human you can be, philanthropy, give back. And that's really where kind of my business model started from, was all the things I learned through JPMS Paul Mitchell. Really just, that sparked something. It spoke to me as a person. I've always thought when you receive, like, you really have a responsibility to do the best you can, do the greatest good for the greatest number for the greatest amount of time.
Yeah.
And so I try to implement that in our salon, and hopefully, your family feels it with us. I mean, we love you guys.
For sure.
Every one of our guests, we really do try to consider it's an individual experience.
Yep.
And we want you to leave feeling empowered, the best you can be. We're here to solve your problems. And then we just try to carry that through our community. I mean, we try our best to live what we believe.
Well, awesome. I see it and I feel it when I come in there, and all your guests have just, it was very relaxed, and everybody's coming in to hang out and have a good time, and I've never seen anybody leave in a bad mood.
I hope not.
So that's been pretty good. Of course, I'm not there all day, so I don't.
Just the staff.
Just the staff. So today we're talking a little bit about risk taking.
Yeah.
Because you had to take a risk in going into this industry. You had to take a risk in stepping out on your own and starting your own salon down here on the coast when everybody's got a hairdresser maybe. Yeah. And so you take that risk and you had to go into that. I want to talk about that. Part of taking a risk, you've got to have sometimes calculated risks.
Absolutely.
Sometime last year, my neighbor, I walked in my backyard, and I live on the bay. I'm lucky to live on the bay for sure. And my neighbor next door to me, he kind of, howdy-ho, good neighbor, and came by. I love Mike. He's great. And probably been one of the best neighbors I've ever lived near. Unless you're listening to this and you were my neighbor, I probably loved you too. So, but he says, hey, did you get the video I sent you? I was like, no, I didn't see it. So I pull it up on my phone. He begins to tell me how we have kite surfers in this area, right? He sends me a video of a kite surfer that had started kite surfing somewhere over in like Niceville. Wow. And somehow he lost his kite, and all he had was the board, and it drifted him roughly 6 miles across the bay.
Wow.
Until sometime around midnight, he landed on the back door of Mike's house.
Oh, wow.
Wet and soggy, and he rang his doorbell, and Mike had a ring doorbell of this guy just soaking wet and wet. The wetsuit's probably the only thing that saved his life.
Yeah.
It was still cold. The water was still cold. Yeah. And
scary. Dark,
Mike has a gate at his driveway that wasn't open, so the guy, he came to the door. He said he had a pistol in his hand in his underwear because
welcome to Florida,
midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And he just said, hey, what can I help you? And he says, aside from me being cold, I really just need the gate open. And I guess he had somehow found a way to get there, and Mike called the police for him, and they came and picked him up. Took the guy home.
Wow.
But sometimes making risk, you got to make a calculated decision. I
don't know how calculated that was.
At some point, he realized he made the wrong decision, took the wrong risk. I mean, can you imagine having to just in the dark hold on to a board until it somehow
and pray that
you hit
or
something.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit you.
Right.
Or I know what's in that water.
That he survived. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some predator animals out in the water.
Sharks out there.
Yeah, for sure. But he survived. The police got him and took him home, and with his kite board.
Wow.
No kite, sans kite.
Wow.
Surfboard at that point.
You're listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB with ADHD. Elemental B. Anyway, back to the show.
So sometimes you make bad decisions, and the risk wasn't worth the reward. Have you ever had a risk that wasn't worth the reward?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you always make plans. I can't think of anything particular offhand, but, you know, you make plans in life and things change. And I think as I've gotten older, one of the things that I've kind of come to realize is when you're starting to feel that resistance and it's not working out on something, you have the freedom to change it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of your intuition, you know, telling you this isn't for you.
Brilliant.
That's a good note.
Let's all write that down.
That's a really
shall
good
we,
note.
class?
That's good. That's smart. You know, we've of course I've had many things that unfortunately taking risks on, but we as an entrepreneur, and we take a lot of risks. And one I think of is we built the house over on Anchor Lane. You know, we just around the corner and we built a house on the water, and we kind of tore it down and then built it back up. And by the time we got the windows and the wood in and everything else, like right after post-COVID, the market really had shifted. Yeah. And as high as it was, it started dropping, but we had to pivot. And my wife came to me and said, hey, look, well, let's go ahead and furnish the whole thing out. We do pictures, we do everything, and let's turn this into an Airbnb. And we've been able to now rent it.
Excellent.
And cover, you know, the costs and things of that nature, trying to help the house go forward and pivot before you just lose. So sometimes in business you do have to make it. You have the right to make a change in that.
You know, that's what you do. You're a business person, you take risks, and I think you get to the point where you take risks so often that you get less afraid to step out there, you know, because you have, you know, I think there's a difference between being taking risk and being reckless.
Well, yes.
You know, and so if you do an educated risk, you know, you're stepping out there and like, okay, but you learn how to pivot more and adjust. And I really think like sometimes things don't work out, but it's not always it's a learning experience. And
For sure.
And it makes you stronger the next go around, and, you know, you hopefully get there a little quicker. So, I mean, you build a different, as an entrepreneur, I've definitely learned a lot in almost 5 years. But you kind of learn how to change your perspective on it.
Sure.
You know?
Well, and what your vision may not be what your customers' visions are.
Right.
So sometimes you have to, you're making an adjustment really because your customer base is changing in a manner. Taking risk, like you've just said, is part of what you have to do. You took a risk opening your own salon. Yeah. I mean, what made you want to do that?
Honestly, it was really organic, you know, the same thing with kind of coming back here. You know, being with Lee, I'm going to probably jump ahead, but we were together 6 months dating when he asked me to move to Atlanta with him from here.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, my first instinct was like, you're crazy. I don't even know you.
Right.
You know, and he's like, what do you mean you don't know me? We've been dating for 6 months. I'm like, this is like, you know, I didn't trust myself at that point.
Sure.
But then I talked to my mom. She's like, why don't you go? And I'm like, are you crazy too? Like, what, has everybody but me lost any sense of reason? And so they kind of took away my reasons to say no, and I went. And we've been together almost 20 years, and it was kind of the same thing with the salon. I was working at a previous shop for 9 years. I learned a lot. I'm thankful for my time there. But it got to the point where it was time for me to kind of spread my wings and kind of do more. Yeah. I had a bigger scope of vision of what I thought was possible. Yep. And so I went out there, and you talk about risk. I mean, I opened in November of 2019, not knowing, like anyone, that we were going to have a pandemic.
Coming right into COVID.
Yeah, and then closing for 6 weeks after being open for a short period. I mean, it was kind of a scary time, but I had to trust in it. Do what I felt was right, and but business is always risk, right?
It is. Well, and when you left, you left the salon, and sometimes the people that you leave, they don't always come with you, and you sometimes lose those connections. Yeah. But what I like to tell everybody, if you've had a relationship with me and you feel like it's been shattered somewhere along the line, just know that I've already forgiven you, and I hope you'll forgive me. Because genuinely those relationships, when you're in them, I learn so much from them. And so not everybody goes along the whole road for you. Not everybody's been made to be with you, forever. Mm-hmm. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's still great lessons around all those. So 100%. Everybody I've come across in the path has been
I think initially when I left, there was a lot of hurt on both ends, I'm sure. But, in time, it's like, forget that moment, because that was a reactionary moment. Possibly on both of our parts, whatever. But I appreciate the time that I had there, the experience I had, and I grew a lot. I wouldn't be where I am. So, I look back at my career, and like I say, when I've had mentors, I mean, I have had. That's why I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because the gifts I've been given along the way, the little nuggets, the mentors, everything, the opportunities, that is sheer passion and drive, but opportunity. Right. And so I'm thankful for every one of those. I didn't get here by myself. I mean, I have a great team, and that's why I feel charged to help them do what I've done.
I love it. And you do need a team around you.
Yeah.
You do need people to come around you. I mean, what are some of the steps you took to mitigate your risk in opening this salon?
Well, I had to do kind of an assessment on, this is how many clients I have.
Okay.
What's the average revenue that I bring? Assume some of them.
So you need to put a plan together for one.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, you have to scout the opportunity.
That's right.
Looking for real estate.
Yeah.
What is my budget?
Yep.
Can I cover this by myself? How big does this team need to be? What do we need to bring in? So you kind of do your fact finding,
right?
Research, calculate everything, and then at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself and
Sure.
step out there, and that's where the risk comes in because
Sure.
you're like, okay, all the numbers look, but it could go any which way.
That's right.
So you just go through.
I think a couple other things when you're trying to mitigate your risk, aside from making a great plan out, is I also think you need to find really, like you said, mentors or people that you can trust in. They don't necessarily have to be a mentor. Maybe it's other people in business, other people that started business, other people that have done some of those things. You should get some advice from them.
Yeah.
Talk to them about what you're doing. Talk to them about what you're going through. If you're hitting a stump somewhere, find somebody that you trust and you value their opinion, and just see if you're thinking the right way. Sometimes we can get so close to the decision, or so close to, I call it traveling too close to the sun, right?
Right.
You think you're doing right, you're headed to right, but you need somebody that maybe isn't involved, and now if they back you up, then you can feel a little bit more, what you say, confident in going in and doing it.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm giving myself
Brilliant. Let's all write that down.
Danielle
shall
gave
we,
me
class?
great advice, and when I was looking at this, going into this, you both gave me good ideas. My friend Aaron, like a lot of my guests who had been with me and knew me,
right,
kind of were like, this is time for you.
100%.
And I think y'all believing in me made me think, okay, this. I knew I had the skill set, but do I have the ability? Being an operator and being an owner, that's two different things. I can do the hair. That's easy. The business, like when I opened the salon, great hairstyle, still a great hairstylist, but 100%. I'm still learning to be an exceptional owner. I'm a good business owner. I want to be exceptional, and so that is part of every year. It always hits me around January. I start assessing last year's numbers and looking at what we did
100%.
well and what we did. How can we take it to the next level? How can I change my business to adapt to the current situations, speak to the community? That's really, for us as hairdressers, it's all about connection.
Now, we used to run everything in our business. We based it off of numbers, and the numbers don't lie. And so you would look at last year comparables.
Right.
This time last year, same time, you look month to month, week to week, always looking at seeing trends.
If you don't look at your financials, you are failing yourself. Yeah. Look at your P&L, look at your budget,
right.
I look at mine every day. P&L and balance sheet every day. How weird is that?
But you need to have them compare. You need to compare them to the past.
Every day.
You need to compare to the past and see if you see any trends. Do you see a trend around the springtime? Do you see a trend around the fall? Do you see a trend around?
Well, that's my snapshot every month of how was it compared to last year? How did we do? Was there something different that set us off?
That's exactly right.
And
when then you find that difference, then you leverage it, right? If it was a positive difference, leverage that difference, right?
Right. Yeah.
No, analyzing your business and being, really being in your business is and it's something. If you don't do it, it's like cultivating a garden. You don't take out the weeds and you don't go through it and you don't keep turning it and you don't keep adding water to it and doing all the things you need to do. You're just not going to get the results you want.
You try to keep the fires away. You look out for the little flames before they become fires.
Correct.
Yep.
And that's what a business owner does. They're forward looking, not just in the present, but what do I need to do to mitigate any further risk?
Yeah. Well, I used to have a manager in our business, especially at CLN, that I sometimes thought, I had a lot of great managers. So if you hear this and you worked for us at CLN, no, I'm probably not talking about you. But, we had some managers that I used to call them almost like Smokey the Bear, that they were trying they were firefighters. And I was like, you need to be more like Smokey the Bear. Try to prevent forest fires. You don't need to just be out there trying to put them out. You need to prevent them.
So that's McKenna for me.
There you go.
She puts out the fire.
Puts out the fire.
Things. That's why she's a great asset to me. Yeah. Shout out to you. I couldn't do what I do without.
She is really good, by the way.
Literally, she's the one looking for the fires. She's watching that. So because I'm a big dreamer, I'm a visionary. I'm all over the place. I need some people to rein me in. Yeah. Your wife helped me do our speakeasy in our home.
That's right.
And she had to edit me down. I'm like, the room's only so big. We can only do so many things. Here's what we. And it's exceptional.
Alan, it's only got this much space.
Right. You think this is a Shangri-La? This is a room.
Yeah. By the way, does look really good.
amazing.
The
Thank
pair
you
of
so
you
much.
together did a great job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
But, that's what McKenna does for me is she does all that so I can be the visionary of looking what's ahead. She's helping to manage the salon day to day. And you need, that person.
You need good
looking
people,
for it,
man. You've got to have good people helping you. You really do. You can't do this on your own, especially a small business like you guys and, running a salon. Again, big thank you to our sponsors today, Salon Trinity. The Salon Trinity is more than just a salon. It's a sanctuary where beauty meets compassion and expertise blends with authenticity. Experience the difference at the Salon Trinity and discover your beauty within.
Excellent.
That was good. That one
that
was
was
a good
good.
read,
Nailed that
right?
one.
That was a good read. That is perfect. Now it's time. Let's play the Guess Your Middle Name.
Wow.
Are you ready to play
Mine?
this game? I want to try to guess everyone's middle name.
How do I not know your middle name? I know I do.
I got to have a first letter, though. It's Brandon. What's your first initial of your middle name?
D.
Oh, it's Dennis.
No.
It's not Dennis.
It's not. That's
Daniel?
my father's name.
I know. I
Nope.
figured you'd have taken that.
Nope.
So Dennis, Daniel. I don't know why I want to say dandruff, but I know that's not right.
It's not dandruff.
Gosh, what else would we have?
Oh, there's a lot of D names.
I don't know. The one I can think of is David.
David.
It's a good one. No,
David's
not
a
it.
good one.
Not it.
David.
You won't
What
get
other
it.
D names? Daryl?
Daryl? Are you Daryl?
I'm not a
Daryl Mobley,
Do I
Daryl?
look like a Daryl?
I don't know, man. I mean, Daryl could work.
No. You give up?
I give up.
It's Dean, like James.
Dean, like James. That's a cool name.
So my father has that
B
middle
Money
name.
Dean.
Yeah, Brandon Dean, right?
Brandon
Right.
Dean.
So my father's got the same middle name. My cousins, all the cousins have the middle name.
Strong
Uncles,
name, man.
grandfather, all have that middle name.
James Dean was kind of where they compared the
before
Cougar
James
to, right?
Dean.
The Cougar was always John Mellencamp.
John Cougar.
was,
Johnny Cougs.
Johnny Cougs.
Back in the day, he's kind of got a James Dean vibe.
I feel like people compared him to the
Yeah.
James Dean character.
Well, James Dean, I think, was an Indiana guy before he got killed.
You
in a
guys seem to
spider.
want to, and you guys. The one thing I found about Indiana folks is they claim
We claim everybody.
everything.
We do.
They
We do
claim
claim
every-
Cuban. He's done decent. Anyway.
Yeah, you do have really good wings there in Bloomington.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't believe you.
We
I
don't
hate
have
to
great
say it.
seafood because we're not near an
You had
ocean.
that. What was the name of that place again?
Buffalo Louie's.
Buffalo
Bloomington,
Louie's.
Indiana. If
you go up
need
there,
the king of
great wings. They ought to send me something. So good. If you go to Bloomington, it's so good.
Sauces are great.
Well, and they're
Better than Buffalo Jack's? Comparable?
Close.
I don't feel good saying that out loud.
But I do like in
That's
the
my
Panhandle.
standard of
In the
You
Panhandle,
will not be
Buffalo Jack's.
disappointed.
Yeah.
You will not. Be
It's just the sauces are different.
Okay.
It's
You will
different.
not be
sauce.
disappointed. They were exceptional.
Okay.
If I go back to Bloomington, I'm getting the wings.
Yeah.
And
50. 50 at a
Buffalo
time.
Louie's and get 50. Oh, they're the small ones too.
They
They're
are,
like
so you can fill
small
it up.
and they're great. Just
Oh, my gosh.
so good. So good. All right, so Alan, I've got it. Let's see. What's your middle name? No, don't tell me your middle name.
Oh, yeah.
Initial. I'm sorry.
Jay.
J. Oh, Jason.
James.
No.
James.
Jerry. James? Oh.
I said James. How's that
Alan
possible?
James.
How would it not be possible?
Alan
What does
James.
possibly mean?
It could be any P name.
Did your mother ever go like Alan James?
No, I was an exceptional child. I never got in trouble.
Never
so
got
it
in
never
What
happened.
the heck?
Never have it.
No.
Have you
My
tried
sister-
trouble? It's
Your
kind of
sister on the
fun.
Now you I know had Brandon Dean.
No, I have a twin sister. My sister Summer got in all the trouble. All of it. I got in trouble kind of by proxy because she got in trouble.
Right.
But anyway.
No,
It-
that-
My
Well,
sister
that's-
got
you know
in
you were
trouble
the
if I got in
troublemaker,
trouble because
sis.
she was in charge.
My dad would yell. He'd be like, Jason. But you wouldn't tell if it was Jason or Nathan, my brother. So it would just be this enunciation that would leave off the first two letters. And
So we got
so
both.
we would both come running because you didn't want to not be the one.
You look at
that
each other
didn't
like,
show
what'd
up.
you do?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
is
like,
that
"He did it."
is that a Southern thing that we're like, is that a name you can yell outside? Because I feel like anytime one of my friends
Might
has a
be a
baby, we're like,
Southern thing.
you can't scream that out the door. Like it's got to be a name you can be like, get in here.
Yeah.
I do that with my dog when she
It's a
runs
thing.
away. If
right,
anybody
so-
likes a new puppy, we got one.
That's great.
That likes
That's
to
great.
run away.
So my middle name starts with an A.
Adam? No, it's not.
Very
it's
close.
not Adam.
Very close because that's another name that starts with an A. But other than that, it wasn't close at all.
But I got the first letter right.
You did get the first letter right.
Is it Alan?
No, it's not Alan. But
been-
that
could've been
could have
better.
been.
That would have been cool.
That would have been interesting.
But it's close to Adam.
No, it's close to Adam because it starts with an A.
Got it.
Anthony?
No.
Alexander.
Ooh, that was.
How do I not
Jackson's
know?
name.
Well,
your
that's
middle
why I
name.
thought maybe.
Yeah. I wore this
Andrew?
at a winter party of yours. We did an ugly Christmas sweater, and I wore it, and it was in a big joke with Key and Peele. Did a big joke when they said, "Hey, Aaron,
Aaron.
Hey, Aaron."
That's why B. Randon works.
B. Brandon. That works great. Oh, that was fun. Let's give ourselves an applause. All right. So we are, though, headed to the quote of the day by Tay-Tay. She said,
Come on, Taylor.
and I am fading, thinking, do something, babe. Say something, lose something, babe. Risk something. In her song, You're Losing Me. And it's more about a relationship, but she's saying you just got to do something. You can't just not do anything. And I think that's, kind of interesting. Risk shows up. Sometimes you do risk and it doesn't work out. But risk, you put yourself out there, you're kind of vulnerable, right? When you risk things, you really are opening up your vulnerability. So I knew a guy, I don't want to say what he did because I would give this guy away and I should protect his story. However, he was in a community that we were living in as a guy I knew really well. We were very good friends at the time and shared a lot of stories. And I told him I was going to go get a vasectomy. And by the way, if you as guys, I think it's important for us to do it because it's not the craziest thing in the world to do. It's a lot easier than what the women have to go through. So, but he was telling me not to worry about it, but he told me his vasectomy story. And this guy in our community was really well known. I mean, he was on kind of local TV channels and stuff like that, and so really well known. And he walked in and did the vasectomy, and the doctor came in, and you're kind of all out there vulnerable. And he goes, "Hey, I've got people following me around and and to look at stuff." And so they bring him in, and they're like, "Oh, hey!" And like everybody there knew who he was. So he was just like, and here is all of me, right?
So, wow. It was like a show.
He did not mean for it. So his moral of the story to me is like, if they tell you they have people following you around, tell them no. Right? Cannot come in.
Man.
So yeah, that can be kind of crazy. But I mean, taking risks, you are vulnerable. I mean, but when do you know you can let your guard down? Maybe not just even in business. I mean, going out even as friendships. Like, when do you know, okay, I can be vulnerable and take this risk and share something with somebody, or I can take this step with somebody? When do you think is like, what is the measurement to say I can risk it, especially when you're dealing with even your emotions sometimes or your story in life?
I mean, I think like when you talk about that, I mean, relationships, there is no guarantee with anything, I mean, you kind of, I think about essentially somewhat of that a lot, because you're like, do you want to be, I feel like when you're not open, is it being guarded or jaded? But like, I don't want to, you want to be hopeful and optimistic and open, but I think ultimately people show you who they are. When you build, you talk to somebody, you get a sense of them. And I think,
Let them talk for a little bit.
Right.
They're going to tell you exactly
who they are.
Yeah.
And I think you look at how they live. For me, I kind of look at how they live. Who are you as a person? We don't have to agree. I don't have to see eye to eye, but like, if you operate with integrity, if you're someone that I value, then I want to hear your opinion on something, and so in order to do that, I have to tell you what it is, right? I have to show my cards,
right?
But I think
but don't you start like? So I think maybe you start slow, right?
Yeah.
You
toss a
if
little
you can,
crumb out
if I can
there,
trust
see-
you with the small things,
Yeah.
and I can maybe get to
Yeah.
the big things.
Yeah.
And so you don't ever have your deepest, darkest secrets to the
To a
person you just
stranger.
met.
Yeah.
Right. So for sure.
I do. I just lay it out there. I'm teasing.
It's better with a stranger; they don't know you.
Well, they don't know.
I am kind of weird in that regard, that I'm the guy that walks into a room where I know nobody.
Right.
I'm like,
Hey, let
here
me
we
tell
go.
you.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm like a Labrador puppy.
You ever been in like a small group at church or something, and somebody walks in? I'll never forget. We had a couple walk in. Danielle and I were really early on in parenting, and we were joining a church, and we had this small group, and this couple walked in. And by the way, the wife, they ended up getting a divorce, and the wife became good friends of ours. But they came in. They'd been in a tizzy in church that day, and they just unloaded. I think the poor facilitating this class he opened up to questions, and the first question was like, well, what do you do if your wife spends too much money? And it was like, well, what do you do if your husband doesn't show up on time? And by the way, they were sitting side by side.
No.
And I thought, this is
not a good game.
I wanted to hide.
Right.
Yeah, I want to go. I gotta go. I got a thing.
And obviously, they didn't work out. I mean, they didn't know the conflict resolution. And honestly, she's a sweet person. I don't know where the guy's at, but
I think when you get to that point, it's like, well, what do you do when?
It's like that's well, and you definitely don't do it in the middle of strangers. But it definitely happened that day. So. By the way, I've heard it said that all advertising is designed to help you avoid pain or have pleasure. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, they say.
I mean, everything you're doing, it seems like it's all geared to say you want this because it's pure pleasure. Or you want this because you're going to avoid some sort of back pain.
Features and benefits.
Right?
Key to all selling.
Yeah.
Features and benefits.
I mean, you think people, that's the number one thing they want to avoid is pain, and everybody wants pleasure, right? So whatever, and sometimes it's spending too much money buying something. You get in that sensory of having something,
Right.
Okay, this is like secret trick from Paul Mitchell, but we don't have retail, we don't have this is our take home. This is for you to take home. This is your souvenir from your experience here. Right. This is how you're going to remember me at home when you shampoo your hair and you get that great maybe the tea tree tingle from our tea tree special, or it's great.
It's really
number
good,
one
by the
scalp
way.
shampoo.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I mean that's essentially marketing is pleasure. They try to figure what's going to speak to people and make them feel good, and it's a resonation.
Yeah.
When we talk about tea tree a lot in the salon, it's the aromatherapy, and you're creating the spa-like experience in your shower. And, but part of that is because it aromatherapy, it transfers you to a different place or time.
Sure.
I mean, you're transported and get to have an experience. So. It's all about that.
It is, and that's the thing. I think in life, you sometimes have to avoid risks. Sometimes in your personal life, you should avoid risks. Like the risky behavior is things that you should try to avoid all the time. I mean, if you're a person out there and you're getting off in life, you're getting started off in life, in that 15, 17, 20-year-old range, early 20 range, you should take risks in certain parts of your life for sure. But then there are behaviors in life, especially in your personal life, you really should be avoiding risky behavior.
Yeah.
For sure.
What is the reward? Going back to what you said.
What is the reward? Risk reward. Yeah.
I mean, is this? And I mean, we've all had a journey. When I was younger, made some not so smart decisions, and that's why, when Lee asked me to go to Atlanta, was part of the reason why I was like, no, I have a job here, I'm secure here, because I'd made choices that were not wise choices, and they were risky, and I think if you continue to do that and you're playing the odds, the house always wins.
Right.
So, you want to make sure that, don't keep throwing the dice. Learn when you walk away from the table. And that's a win at times, making choices that, take a risk when the reward is so great that it's going to put you in a better position, or healing or fulfilling or something that 100%. Is building versus, instant pleasure taking away.
We all know driving intoxicated is a no, but it happens all the time. Yeah. And so there's risky behavior you should absolutely avoid. But then there's again, risk reward.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when the younger you are, I think the less you realize sometimes. I think you're open to take more risk, but you don't realize, especially in your personal life, the consequences that can happen. And so I think you definitely have to look at that, like you said, the advertising, and say, do I want to avoid pain or have pleasure? And what's the reward? Am I going to be more on the pleasure side or more on the...
Stay off the internet after midnight, or stay off of QVC. That's what you're going to buy. Those impulse things are going to get you, and that's
don't get the credit card in the first place. I'm telling you, it's so funny. It's like, here, have a free T-shirt for signing up for a credit card that's at 24% interest. Yeah. It's better to go to...
Buy a T-shirt.
Oh, I had my Georgia credit card. I got my Georgia T-shirt.
How many of those
18, 19% interest?
Boom, 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 boom. So do you want to delay gratification now because it is better? I think that's the risk. You give up having something fun now for something even greater, especially as a business owner.
Delayed.
You get paid last. Yeah. That's what happens in business. You get paid last. I got one.
Let's all write that down.
There you go, money. You got one in there. I'll even give you the cash register one there too. That was great. Listen, I want to turn our attention to this video right here. I've gotten into really watching American Idol here in the last few seasons, and I really enjoy watching it.
Bringing it back.
They're bringing it back. I like the stories. This particular girl, I'm starting this, I think, at the 1 minute and 26 seconds. So for my editor, 1 minute and 26 seconds on this video. We're starting the video here, but the beginning part of it, she talks about having anxiety. And a 17-year-old girl from, I think, Arkansas. And she wrote this song, and she performs it on, I think, the Showcase Stoppers. And I want you to listen to these words because it really kind of caught me that I thought was very, very interesting. But she wrote this on, I guess, kind of surrounding anxiety and around anxiety in people. But I'd love to get your opinion on this. So here we go. Jessica Jeffries, by the way, I think is her name.
You've known God since you were a child. Read your Bible and prayed every night. Sunday mornings were made for revival, so you'd still feel like you're God's child.
Wow.
17 and feeling that.
What has that child gone through, you know?
And those strings that you pick, the more anxious you get, are getting worn out. And those words that you sing are the way that you bleed, and you're bleeding out.
Right? I mean,
that's a tough.
That was powerful.
17 years old.
Yeah.
And she writes these songs. I mean, especially when she's kind of talking about the church and sometimes coming into it, and that's almost this place that was supposed to be a revival for her has gotten her looking at like,
yeah,
I have to be wrong or
right.
Right. And if I'm wrong, then I'm damned to hell.
Yeah.
And
I feel bad either way.
And I feel bad.
I can't be
way.
perfect.
Right.
And I can't be both. Yeah, that's a tough thing.
So I think I heard it this week, and I was talking about wanting to get you set up, and I was going through stuff, and I actually know you are a man of faith and a believer, and I know that. In fact, we talk more in your chair out of all the places that I do, and people that if you listen to this, I know. And again, I apologize to some of our listeners if we're going to talk a little bit about faith right here. Again, you can just fast forward a couple minutes. I get it. You're turned off by it. I apologize now, but I did come from a faith background, but I talk more about faith like in your chair or with my friends in a pool with a beer or whatever it is. I talk more about faith and my faith than probably I ever did even in church. And we talk about it all the time, but this is something that, because I've seen you, we talked about how you support charities and we talk about things you go through, great local causes. I mean, do you find sometimes, because I find sometimes it could be risky sharing my faith, and we've talked about this, right?
I think being a gay man,
sure.
I think, people sometimes assume that I'm not a Christian, and
right.
and I am very devout, and I believe very strongly.
Yeah.
And that's complicated for a lot of people.
For sure.
And it's complicated for me, because I grew up with faith, and it's one of the cornerstones of what's this is how I don't have to question who in my darkest, hardest moments, God is always there for me. When nobody else, I can remember times just walking down the street and, having a low spot and just feeling despair.
Yeah.
And you're not alone. So, you know, I never questioned my belief or my faith because God's affirmed it all the time.
100%.
So,
it's a thing about songs like that and this girl and maybe things that you've gone through. It just makes me so sad because I was telling you the other day, I've never had a better friend than Jesus.
Yeah.
But yet sometimes we're so
and I love that. When you said that, I was like, yeah, friend. Right?
It's great.
A relationship.
I've never had a better friend than Jesus. He's just always been good, so good to me.
When I started Behind the Chair, one of my friends that, you know, was a guest and became a friend, you know, she had kind of told me that, like, you don't have to go to church to be a Christian, you know, because as a gay man, you're not often welcome in churches. And the word could say, you know, they can say, oh, we accept everybody, but, you know, accepting somebody and welcoming them, you know, it's not always the same thing. And, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, downplay anybody or anything. You know, we're all there, but for me, you know, that is a risk, you know, and it is very scary to be, you know, a married gay man, and we're both believers and want to go to church and have fellowship and celebrate. You know, that is to walk through those doors.
It's scary.
It is every time.
A risk,
you know,
every time.
And I've had great experiences. You know, I had an amazing church in Atlanta. My pastor was incredible, and you know, I haven't found that church home here, but you know, that's okay. You know, I mean,
but you are getting it in so many other ways.
So,
I mean, the media today, you have people that you can listen to, right?
Yeah.
You've got sermons that you can download. You've got podcasts. That
I've
you
got
can
fellowship
listen to.
with friends.
Fellowship. Yeah, we talk about Jesus for 30, 40 minutes straight sometimes.
I know. I run this guest. You know, she told me, she was like, every day you're behind the chair. That's your opportunity to minister and fellowship. Yeah. And I took that and I was like, because, you know, the people who that I really admire and respect that are Christian, like, they're not announcing it, they're living it.
Yeah.
And that's the example.
That's
like,
really
I
good.
remember there's a local guy, Sam Blows. He's a pastor, and like, he never really talked about it. It was like he was like showy or anything like that. He just was a really great guy, and I found out through cutting his hair that he's a man of God, and he drew me, you know, to like being open to it again, because he was like, you know, it's a life. It's, you know, you live this. You don't have to pronounce it. You are the example, and if it is in you, it's who you are. And so that was really, you know, I'm telling you, like, the people that sit in my chair are incredible. Like, my life, you know, that's where I knew I wanted to be a hairdresser, because I thought it'd be a fun, you know, I get to have fun, listen to music, hang out with people. What I didn't account for, be artistic, what I didn't account for is the relationships. Like, every one of you that are out there, all of my guests, like, I thank you for being a part of my life, and really, they've given me advice throughout the years. They believe, you know, I've grown up in the hair industry, you know, I've been doing it now 14 years, and that's... you know, they become part of your extended family, really. I mean, it's hard. Deaths,
I don't know
births,
that anybody
you know.
does it like you. That's for sure. And I am so thankful that we got to, you came across our path. Like I said, we share so much life together.
Yeah.
And we do talk a lot about faith when we're sitting when I'm sitting in your chair, but I see you walk it.
Thank you.
It's in my life, I know there's certain people that I'm like, okay, wow, he's really like walking out this faith. He's you know, supporting the community.
Oh, thank you.
Doing charities work, kind to people, open. You know, God has grace for so many moments. And you're one of those people that stands out in my mind.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
That's a high compliment.
For sure.
Because we all, I think, instantly think we all fall short. We fall so short.
Well, we
right?
do.
Thank you for grace.
Yeah, 100%.
But
100%.
I think that's where we're hardest on ourselves. You know, so to see, you know, for you to see that in me, I really take that to heart, and that's huge, because that is the example I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as my business goes, like, that's what I set up in my business. We give back to the community. So a little bit about what we do, like every month we give a portion of our proceeds to charity, local nonprofits, whether that's through sponsorships or just donations or drives. We've done for Twin Cities Pavilion in Niceville. We've done like a collection of things, you know, but I also, so that's taking care of my community, helping out my community. I try to, as a business owner,
You're at the Emerald Coast Children's Advocacy Center with me earlier.
Yeah. Great event, amazing.
I'll have to post that picture up here too.
Man, there are, you know, that's, as I got into this world, that was what blew my mind, getting into the nonprofit industry, where learning about it and seeing really how much need is out there. And, you know, for me as a business owner, you know, we're a small business, we're a growing business, but we're starting, you know, we're almost 5 years in. And I just, you know, this is a call to action for other business owners. Give back to your community. feed them the way they feed you, because that is how we take care of each other, And so that is one of our cornerstones of our salon. We always will be giving back to our community and take care of one another and do as much as we can, But I also believe in doing that for my team, So like we have a 401k at the salon, and we offer some, we have Aflac and bonuses, and I just try as much as I can possibly do. I try to do, because I just think, when you win, I win
100%.
Every time.
100%.
Whether it's in the community and my staff, because they're going to be happy to work there, right?
Those values are driven by your faith. I mean, you did name the Salon Trinity, and it was the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, and part of it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Didn't notice that, but that's cool.
Yeah. Three's a magic number.
It is a magic number.
It's a complete number.
Well, again, listen, I'm so thankful that you're here. I am so thankful that I know you and I get to do life with you. It's amazing. Glad to have my friend B Money here with us, hanging out. But this is our section. It's going to be Listen Up Kids. And so listen up, kids. Risk-taking can be all about glory, or it can be totally gory. The more calculated you can be in taking a risk, it will help you measure costs. Measure the cost of your decisions. Don't be afraid of risks. Build your confidence. Find your team of supporters in life and forge ahead into the unknown. If you get smacked down, pick yourself up, learn from that lesson, and move forward. The best risk takers I know have long memories, but short grieving periods. They learn from failures, but they don't dwell in them. Thanks again for listening. Do me a favor and like, subscribe, and share this content, or don't. What the hell do I know?
You've been listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB has worn quite a few hats. CEO, venture investor, accidental pastor of a downtown Atlanta church, board member, passive investor, and occasional public speaker. JB's passion with his show is sharing the good, the bad, and the downright absurd. Life's a mixture, right? JB has picked up some real gems along this journey. Lessons from the business world, the chaos of parenting, and the surprises of accidental leadership. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Jason on Instagram at _Jason_Becker. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time.